As Africa's leading defense news portal, DefenceWeb aims to give you the latest updates on African defense, the South African National Defense Force, and the defense industry. Hi folks, welcome to the past week in defense. In this week's edition on the continent, Algerian Su-30s have been spotted on a Russian production line. MONUSCO will demilitarise and close offices in the Democratic Republic of Congo. The Ivory Coast is getting replacement MI-24s after 2 crashes. Nigerian Super Tucanos begin arriving at Moody Air Force Base for training. Suspected pirates attack off Ghana. The United States is seeking land cruisers for the Somali military, and an Inflated SA Police Service rubber bullet tender gets cancelled. In SANDF news, the Defence Minister explains the dropping of unlicensed firearm charges against the Surgeon General. SANDF's Chief Solly Schalke warns against soldiers attending party political meetings. The Goma C-130BZ recovery team is quarantined at Air Force Base Swartkoop. The National State of Disaster tasking continues for soldiers and military medics. Reserve Force utilization in Operation Notlela has been praised by the top SANDF Human Resources Officer. Yace de Plaat celebrates Heritage Day, and mobility packages add value to border protection. In company news, no bailout, no Denel, says Defence and Military Veterans Minister Nosiviwe Mapisa-Nqakula. In African defence news, Algerian Su-30s spotted on Russian production line. Russia's Irkutsk aviation plant is presently manufacturing Su-30 fighters for the Algerian Air Force after it placed an order for another 16 aircraft. At least 4 Algerian Su-30s were recently seen at the plant. This comes after Algeria ordered $2 billion worth of additional Su-30 Mka and MiG-29M/M2 aircraft in 2019. Last September, Russian daily newspaper Vedomosti reported that Algeria had ordered an additional 16 Su-Mka aircraft, joining the 58 already in service, and another 14 MiG-29M/M2 aircraft. Both purchases are worth around $1.8 billion, but the value could exceed $2 billion if weapons and equipment are added. Algeria is looking to replace some of its 36 obsolete MiG-29s it bought from Belarus and the Ukraine in the early 2000s, and which will be retired around 2020. Algeria also ordered 34 new MiG-29 SMTs from Russia, but due to quality problems, Algeria refused further deliveries after 15 had been received, and Russia instead supplied Algeria with 16 Su-30s. MONUSCO to demilitarise and close offices. Work is underway on a joint strategy for MONUSCO to gradually and responsibly exit the Democratic Republic of Congo, but this is not putting hurdles in the way of South Africa rotating its components of the Force Intervention Brigade. Soldiers from 15 SA Infantry Battalion in Toyoyando earlier in September departed the SA Army Mobilization Center outside Bloemfontein following jungle and other mission-specific training for a tour of detached duty as part of the world's largest current UN peace mission. The Limpopo headquartered unit replaced the Zeerust Northwest headquartered 2nd SA Infantry Battalion, which served an extended period in the Central African country as a result of the COVID-19 pandemic. Leila Zerogui, Special Representative of UN Secretary General Antonio Guterres, earlier in September indicated MONUSCO, the French acronym for the UN Organization Stabilization Mission in the DRC, was in the process of demilitarizing and closing offices in view of its withdrawal from the country. She was speaking during a weekly UN conference in Kinshasa, the DRC capital. We had an evaluation and are preparing for the transition because this year we will also present a report on the transition and further reduce our presence in areas where Congolese authorities are able to assume responsibility for security without other intervention, she is reporting as saying on the MONUSCO website, which did not give any date or timeline indication for the closure. MONUSCO is currently in 6 of the DR Congo's 26 provinces with over 18,000 uniformed personnel in the form of military personnel and officers as well as police and 1,000+ police formed unit members. Ivory Coast getting replacement Mi-24s after 2 crashes. The Ivory Coast is taking delivery of 2 Mi-24 helicopters to replace those lost in recent crashes. An Mi-24 was delivered on the 7th of August 2020 to coincide with the Ivory Coast's 60th Independence Day. The aircraft arrived in Abidjan aboard a Ukrainian Air Force Su-30s transport aircraft, Scramble magazine reports. President Alassane Ouattara said that it is the first of 2 Mi-24s being received, with the second due within 3 months' time. They are most likely ex-Bulgarian examples. The aircraft are to replace the 2 lost within the space of 5 months. On 27th of November 2019, an Mi-24D was lost in a collision with a Mi-17 parked on the ground at Katiola during a visit by President Ouattara. The Mi-24D was written off, while the Mi-17, belonging to the presidential flight, sustained repairable damage. Another Mi-24D crashed in March this year. Nigerian Super Tucanos begin arriving at Moody Air Force Base for training. The first of 12 A-29 Super Tucano aircraft for the Nigerian Air Force have arrived at Moody Air Force Base in Georgia for pilot and maintainer training as Nigeria prepares to take delivery of its aircraft next year. Moody Air Force Base has been selected to host a stateside mission to train Nigerian Air Force pilots and maintain personnel on the Super Tucano, as well as personnel from Brazil and Afghanistan. Photos released by the base show a Nigerian Super Tucano there on the 3rd of September. The Super Tucano is assigned to the 81st Fighter Squadron, a tenant unit at Moody. A-29 training has been conducted at Moody for the Afghan Air Force since 2014. Mirroring training for Afghan partners, US Air Force advisors will provide flying, aircraft maintenance, and ground training device instructors and operators to support training of Nigerian personnel. The new mission is anticipated to bring approximately 100 additional personnel to Moody, including Nigerian military, civilians, and contractors required to support training on 12 aircraft. The program will train an initial cadre of Nigerian personnel to include both maintenance personnel and pilots who will become instructors. Suspected pirate attack off Ghana. A Denmark flag tanker has been approached by a suspicious boat off the coast of Ghana but managed to avoid a potential attack. This is according to Presidium International, which said the Hafnia Phoenix on 22nd of September reported being approached by a speedboat carrying 9 or 10 people with a ladder whilst 150 km southeast of Takoradi. The tanker increased its speed and performed evasive maneuvers, forcing the perpetrators to abort their approach. United States seeking land cruisers for Somali military. The United States is looking to acquire nearly 100 Toyota Land Cruiser vehicles for the Somali military. In a request for information published on the 21st of July, the US Army contracting team said it had a requirement for commercial Toyota Land Cruiser truck variants with ballistic blankets installed and common spare parts to support the US military's Africa Command foreign military sales security requirements. The request for information for the vehicles is for security assistance for the country of Somalia. A total of 85 Land Cruiser 4-door vehicles are required, and 11 Land Cruiser ambulance variances along with 2 spares. Inflated South African Police Service rubber bullet tender cancelled. The South African Police Service has cancelled the tender for less lethal ammunition with RT Empowerment Technologies after it was alleged the police were paying 5 times what they should have for their ammunition. According to the government tender bulletin, Mustech Security Technologies, trading as RT Empowerment Technologies, was awarded a 3-year contract to supply and deliver soft silicone 12-gauge shotgun cartridges for the police at a cost of 1,889 Rand per box of 25 rounds. The tender was awarded in July this year and was worth 30.5 million Rand. RT Empowerment Technologies beat local companies Industrial Cartridge, ECM Technologies, and Compliance and Security Advisory Service for the contract. One of the losing bidders quoted 340 Rand per box of 25, making its bid 1/5 of the cost of RT Empowerment Technologies. According to its website, Mustech is one of the largest assemblers and distributors of personal computers and complementary RCT products in South Africa, while RT Empowerment says it specializes in the RCT sector. As Mustech/RCT Empowerment do not appear to have any defense or security experience, Compliance and Security Advisory Service was approached to be a subcontractor on the contract. After concerns were raised, the tender was subsequently cancelled. Brigadier Johan Smit, dealing with supply chain management and contract management at the SA Police Service, on the 22nd of September stated that the contract between RT Empowerment and the SAPS has been cancelled. And in SANDF news, Minister explains dropping of unlicensed firearm charges against Surgeon General. One of the three reasons why charges of possession of an unlicensed firearm were withdrawn against South Africa's top military medic was his arrest when a firearms amnesty was in force. This, along with proof provided by Surgeon General of the South African National Defence Force, Lieutenant General Zola Dabula, that he was in possession of his late father's firearm and executor of his estate, as well as the license showing it belonged to his father, SN Dabula, was part of Defence and Military Veterans Minister Nosiviwe Mapisa-Nqakula's written response to a parliamentary question. Opposition Freedom Front Plus leader Peter Groenewald asked her to provide details around the withdrawal of charges around the apparently unlicensed firearm found in Dabula's vehicle during a June national state of disaster roadblock north of Pretoria. The minister's response indicated the Surgeon General's father died 4 weeks before the arrest. Though his legal representative, the Surgeon General, provided all the proof required by the prosecuting authority, this indicated the firearm license, his father's death certificate, and him named estate executor. Although this occurred during a firearm amnesty for handling illegal firearms to the SA Police Service, all this prompted the senior prosecutor to withdraw charges against the Surgeon General for lack of evidence to prosecute, according to the ministerial written response, which added the date of charges withdrawn in the Tembes Magistrate Court as the 20th of August. Schalke warns against attending political party meetings. South Africa's top soldier is adamant no serving SA National Defence Force member will be allowed to attend meetings where petty party political matters are the agenda. This is according to a statement issued by Siphiwe Dlamini, Department of Defence Head of Communication. The unedited statement reads, "It has come to the attention of the Chief of the SANDF, General Solly Schalke, that there is planning for a meeting where various serving senior military members have been or will be invited to attend to discuss matters currently affecting the ruling party in the country." C-130BZ recovery team quarantined at AFB Swartkorp. An SA Air Force technical team was quarantined at the country's oldest Air Force base, Swartkorp, after returning from assisting with the recovery of the C-130BZ Hercules involved in a runway excursion in the Democratic Republic of Congo in January. The 20-strong team, under the command of Major Ernest van Niekerk, according to the SANDF, spent 10 weeks in Goma, where the 28th Squadron aircraft, tail number 403, ended up seriously damaged on the side of the runway. All indications are the 4-engined Lockheed Martin military transport is written off. The South African Air Force has given no firm indication of what will become of the 56-year-old aircraft, other than to say the complete aircraft will be recovered to South Africa this year. National state of disaster tasking continues for soldiers and military medics. From a high of more than 80,000 military personnel employed at the height of the national state of disaster called to save South Africa from the ravages of COVID-19, there is currently an effective military strength of a tenth of that at work. With the country officially on lockdown level 1 as from the 21st of September, 8 of the 20,000 SA National Defence Force personnel employed on Operation Notlela duty remain in place until month end. According to the Joint Operations Division, the current effective strength is 8,000, with the majority of uniformed personnel either infantry supporting police or various medical disciplines from the SA Military Health Service. Uniformed medical personnel have and continue to assist national and provincial departments of health personnel in screening and testing for coronavirus, as well as working with positive patients and those recovering from the virus, which first appeared in Wuhan, China, late in 2019. Reserve Force utilization in Operation Notlela, praised by top SANDF Human Resources Officer. The importance of the part-time soldier in South Africa's national military machine is aptly illustrated in the one force concept used to up the numbers and do the work. This has again come clearly to the force in the ongoing national state of disaster declared by the government in its efforts to contain COVID-19 and protect citizens from the virus. At the height of the lockdown, level 5, more than 14,000 reserve force personnel were in uniform supporting the regular force in tasks as far apart as manning roadblock and screening civilians for signs of the virus. This is acknowledged not only by the Chief of Defence Reserves Major General Roy Anderson, but also by the man in overall charge of the National Defence Force's Human Resources, Vice Admiral Asil Kubu. Yesterplaat celebrates Heritage Day. On Wednesday, 23rd of September, various events were staged at air bases throughout the country ahead of Heritage Day celebrations on 24th of September, with Air Force Base Yesterplaats in Cape Town partnering with the Residential SA Air Force Museum branch to allow units, sections and squadrons to adopt museum aircraft and celebrate the SA Air Force heritage. Officer Commanding of AFB Yesterplaat, Colonel Carl Motshe, noted with appreciation that in the midst of the COVID-19 battle, members found the time to fix, clean and replace tires on their adopted aircraft for this day. Planned to unite heritage with the future, younger members of all the larger units of the base were invited to clean and prepare their chosen SA Air Force Museum aircraft for display on the front line, and in so doing research the history of that particular aircraft for presentation to invited guests. Mobility packages add value to border protection. It has been just on 3 years since modified Toyota Land Cruisers were inducted as part of the National Border Protection Tasking Operation Corona, and the soft-skinned vehicles are assisting in at least slowing down the seeming flood of foreigners entering South Africa illegally. Officially termed mobility packages, the 4x4 vehicles were first deployed on the South Africa's eastern border with what was then Swaziland, now Eswatini, in November 2017. All told, the South African Army acquisition process was for 435 vehicles in 4 variants: troop transport, logistic support, control and command, and ambulance. The Toyota vehicles replace Samuels and supplement 4x4 Toyota Hiluxes in service as troop transport, carrying a 5-strong stick of soldiers. Defence Web was told the vehicles are effective in the border protection role because they are fast, mobile and agile. Also in their favour are lower maintenance costs because they are effectively off-the-shelf vehicles with minimal modifications and none affecting engine, drive and transmission components. This is an added positive in that turnaround times for regular and unplanned maintenance is quick because all 9 South Africa's provinces have a number of Toyota dealerships, with many in reach of Operation Corona bases and vehicle parks. Survivability of the soft-skin vehicles is reportedly good, with very few losses reported by joint ops. And in company news, no bailout, no Denel, Minister says. A further acknowledgement of the sorry state Denel finds itself in comes from Defence and Military Veterans Minister Nosiviwe Mapisa-Nqakula, who, in response to a parliamentary question, said the state-owned defence and technology conglomerate cannot continue to exist in its current form. It is clear, without a significant bailout by government, Denel will not be able to exist in its current form and will not be in a position to meet its contractual obligations to Arms Corps, she told Shadow Defence Minister Kobus Morea from the Democratic Alliance. Mapisa-Nqakula also indicated Denel's performance against Department of Defence contracts is hindered to a great extent as a result of financial distress which impedes procurement of subsystems and components required to meet contractual deliveries. Making matters worse is a significant loss of capability in certain critical areas. She went on to inform Moraes both Arms Corps and the Department of Defence developed alternative options as regards the future of Denel. These, which she did not elaborate on, still have to be heard and considered by decision makers in government, with the rider that specific critical strategic and sovereign capabilities not duplicated elsewhere in South Africa, and the proposed options going forward are aimed at maintaining at least these. The long-awaited new infantry combat vehicle Badger is still effectively on hold. Please like and subscribe to our YouTube channel, our daily and weekly newsletter, and our other social media platforms if you enjoyed the webcast. Leave your comments below. Thank you for watching. Stay safe and we'll see you next week.